course, with 400 members across the country. And so it's quite impossible to know everybody. But we've got the chat box, we've got Zoom. Katie, do you have any words of advice on using the Zoom or the interface, that sort of thing, before we get started?
No, not really. We do have the chat thing that you can open. If you hover your mouse over the screen, you'll see some options down there. You can mute and unmute yourself. You can turn on and off your video, and then you can open the chat screen to do some chatting. And I am recording this, just so everyone knows. And that's about it.
Well, thanks so much. So let's just go ahead and jump in and get started. First, I want to thank everybody for your attendance this afternoon or morning, wherever you are, and for the time and participation in this network. We have seen just some remarkable growth in both membership, but also in the number of projects in real life, on the street projects that have happened by collaboration, by sharing of ideas and programs and information and crowdsourcing. And it's been really neat. There are some great stories that I would love to tell sometime and have other folks do that as well. Maybe we can do that at a future meeting. But for today, we've got a pretty tight agenda, and so I want to run through that. And I'll just ask if you're not speaking good, your phone, because we're getting we're getting a lot of background. Katie, I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, thanks. So somebody's either on their phone or other, and we might be able to mute them through an admin channel there, Katie, if you could check. So that's always a challenge.
Oh, okay.
I understand it.
And then again, I wanted to ask you, do you have qualitative data softwares?
Okay, let's push on. So we've got a pretty tight agenda. One of the number one things we wanted to do today in getting together and talking, either on the phone or on the Zoom, whichever you are, is to talk about transition. So I've communicated with everybody that I kind of have a new position with Ohio State. It's pretty exciting. It's focused on leadership. And so within the context of leadership, I'm certainly still going to be working in leadership in local food systems. And to that end, I'm actually launching a new network through eExtension, using the platform to bring folks together. I've done a soft launch. I've got folks from around the country who are very interested, probably 25 to 35 people who want to be on kind of the steering committee as we get the thing going. So it's very exciting. I'll still participate in this group. There's great things going on. I apologize. I'm at home, and the internet was out at work, and so now my dog. Hey, dog, be quiet. Is this just like the YouTube video? Hey, excuse me. Hey, Mike, come here. Come here. Hey, I said be quiet. Holy cow, she just doesn't bark. Okay, let's see how embarrassed Brian can be this morning. So, hey, come here. Do you want to be on TV? Man, just like on YouTube. Okay, so how not to conduct a meeting. Oh, I'm so embarrassed. I didn't get to talk about my garden either. So anyway, the tomatoes are doing great. The heirlooms, oh yeah. So we're shifting gears. I'm shifting gears, but I'm still going to participate. And so we did, just in the spirit of transparency, we've had, as you all know, or most of you, we've got some newer folks that may not have seen us as working in the past 5 years, 6 years. But we have a pretty transparent, pretty distributed leadership model. So we haven't had an official, like I don't have an appointment at Ohio State for 10% of my time or 25% of my time. We would like to move to that kind of an idea. And but right now we just haven't written the grants or haven't had the time to put it together or do it. We do have our folks, and I attached those in the notes I sent out with people who have written in NIFA and USDA grants for part of their time. They've been doing great work if you've been following some of the working group. So pretty neat stuff. But in the transition for me, so I did it just an open call, and I said, who's interested? It was kind of a crowdsource. We don't have a set of bylaws that tell us how to do that. And so I said, well, let's just, as kind of the leader, let's just throw it out there. So I talked with some of the key people who have been involved in this group from the beginning, some of whom are on the call, others who could not. And just reading the comments here. But they gave really good input, and we had some long conversations about how to do it. And we decided the open call, let's see who's interested. And we had 5, 6 people who emailed me, who called me, who I chatted with, and to kind of run through that. And so that happened. And then it really came down to one person who thought they had the capacity and their institution would support them. And they're at the point in their career to be able to give back. And that's Kathleen Leong, who's on the call and who has, I attached her kind of purpose statement and that sort of thing. And so today we'll be asking for that vote of confidence from everyone who's on the call to do the transition. So I'm excited. It's crazy the energy that has come from this group, the networks, the USDA likes what we're doing, the Extension likes what we're doing. It's been really neat, and I've been blessed to be a part of it and to get to know so many of you guys across the country. So I'm a little ahead of myself. Let's go back to our working groups. And the reason is, if Lucy's on, her schedule was changing, so she may not be. Lucy, are you on? We wanted to do the working group updates because she had another conflict, and she had yet another conflict.
I don't see her unless she called in.
Okay, no, Lucy. And that was my thinking. So she did send me a report, so I'll just give it really quickly. Basically, she's leading our urban ag working group, which has been quite busy. A whole subsection of people who have been working on this project. And basically, they did a survey, a national survey. So she says the report is our big news. The next steps, we're going to finish pulling together a resource directory, work on publishing a paper with the data. And the draft of that concept paper is out, so it's done, and you can talk to Lucy if you want a copy of it. I've got a copy of it as well. But we're going to be looking for that to go to a journal for a peer review and a publication in that. The Unlocking Inequality Working Group in our food system, inequality in our food system, she says is still looking for direction. We held a webinar with Cami Kuchi. I apologize for the last name. I don't know her. Just for members of the group, it was well received. She said people are still interested in the group, but they haven't had an organizing idea like a survey or something to come around together and to get it out in front. And so she's still looking for some leadership or some interest in that. So if you are, then let Lucy Diekman know. So those are those two quick updates on those. Is Jen or Heidi on about the webinar development group? Or if not, Katie may have the report.
Again, I don't see them. I think, not really much has happened with the webinar working group. We've been kind of figuring out this transition from Adobe to Zoom. And I think that Extension is still kind of figuring that out also. It's still kind of experimental, but we are definitely moving to this Zoom format. But we don't have anything in the works right now for another webinar anytime. Okay,
and just yesterday, Katie and I worked on kind of a vetting or a archiving of the old videos and webinars, some of which have been, did you say 472 views on one?
Mm-hmm.
So pretty neat. Some folks are obviously looking at these, and so those will be archived and housed, and you'll be able to find those through the website, through the Extension website. And so Katie's working on making sure that happens with the transition.
Right.
Yeah. Good, and I appreciate your help on that very much.
You're welcome. Okay,
then Dawn and Becca. Are either of them on for a quick update on the economic impact, the toolkit, which so many, probably all of us have seen and hopefully been using? I can check. I had an email from Dawn as well. It was last week with her travels and schedule, and so she wasn't sure if she was going to be on or not. So probably all of you saw the toolkit was launched. If not, then we can send a link afterward, or Katie can post it even here in the chat box perhaps. But really cool stuff. USDA is thrilled with it. It's fluid, it's dynamic, it's still evolving, and more things are being added to it. So So as you're working in food systems, it's a great assessment tool or a way to look at the economic impacts and that sort of thing, the work that they're doing out in Colorado, well, and with the whole national team for that matter. So how about Duncan, North American Food Systems Partnership? Duncan Hilche. I don't remember if Duncan's on or not. He and I missed each other on a webinar yesterday.
I missed that webinar also. So.
Okay, hearing that. This is the Brian show. I mean, don't worry, Kathleen. You won't have to do everything. I actually don't do anything. I just talk to people. So it's an easy job. Just be not worried. So on Sunday, I think a lot of us are going to Vermont to the NACDEP and ANREP conference, joint conference at Burlington. Tough place to go. Somebody's got to do it. So there we're going to have a table and a breakfast kind of meet and greet to talk about the North American Food Systems Network and that partnership with NACDEP. In short, there's a whole lot of work going on to look at a certificate program, pulling together these disparate materials and online trainings and things that real food systems practitioners have asked us for. And so they conducted a national survey. We met in Iowa in October, I think it was, and then again in San Antonio 2 months ago. And so it's just moving really quickly, a lot going on. And I just saw, in fact, yesterday, Duncan and Amy, I think, released 5 new articles in Journal of Ag Food Systems Community Development. And he's the editor-in-chief there, of course. And so he may have just still been swamped. So that's the quick update. If you're in Burlington, come find us. The breakfast meeting, it's Tuesday morning, I'm pretty sure that we'll be there. Yeah, 7 o'clock, Nashman meet and greet, and Susan Kelly's on the call. Susan will be there as well, so I'm looking forward to that. It'll be a lot of fun. Kim Nawani, Phil Diadamodamery, you around for an update on the content management, content curation? I also talked with Kim just last week, or earlier this week, so I've talked to everybody. So basically what she said was, well, and you all have probably read, if you've kind of followed the changes in the e-extension model, the platform, and what's happening. And so they're looking at changing how we do the extension and looking more network-ish versus doing the content management or content posting and all that sort of thing. Hey guys, I apologize here. Let me. Okay, so that was a tree guy offering to help me with the tree that's down in my side yard. I told him I had a chainsaw and it would be fine. Okay, that'll be tomorrow. So kind of shifting gears. I'm so sorry, it's hilarious. I mean, work from home, don't do it. But then we had huge storms and tornado warnings last night, so the power was out at the office, no internet. So anyway, apologies. So kind of shifting from content management, content creation and curation to more of the formal network, so a learning network. And really that's how we've been functioning for a long time. We did a lot with content and started posting things and hosting things, and we're still going to do some of that, but the focus is really going to be on the network part of it. And then holding the content wherever we hold it, which is fine. And in fact, that may shortcut some of our work and be able to help us to be more effective. And so that's that. And the last working group on the agenda is me. I'm here, so I can tell you about the new working group update, the leadership in local foods. And I'm going to be hosting that one and launching it soon. I'll be talking about it in Vermont. I've got a leadership group with the Community Development Society that has already, there are about 25 people there that have expressed interest. A lot of those have local food interests. Another group with the NACDEP, the Community Development Extension Professionals Network, and then a couple of others and who are not local food related. So this is not local food leadership. This is leadership and extension, leadership and community development. And so it's a more broad brush, and but watch for that. And I'll send more information as we move along. How are we on time? 17. All right. So admin change. So I kind of gave you the background at the beginning of the call, and talked about shifting gears. And I hope you all got a chance to look at the email and the note that I attached from Kathleen. She's on the call right now. By way of introduction, or if anybody jumped on late, I'll just mention we had 5 or 6 people who I spoke with, I emailed with, and we went through kind of a iterative process of what does the job involve, what's it look like to lead this network, this loose connection of people who all are interested in food systems. And at the end of those conversations, it sort of boiled down that Kathleen was one that really thought she had the capacity and the institutional backing and that sort of thing to be able to do it. And so I'm really excited. If you look at Kathleen's background, she's right now, I had a couple people ask for the clarification, is she at Vermont or is she at NC-A&T? Well, she's both. She's moving from the University of Vermont as a professor, full professor in entrepreneurship and applied economics, and is moving to the Kellogg Distinguished Chair there in Sustainable Ag and Food Systems, and co-director of the Center for Environmental Farming Systems with North Carolina A&T, Agriculture and Technical Institute. So very exciting for the new position. We have, and some of you who have been around since the beginning of this network, this national network, we have sought to be really inclusive, to really bring in our 1890 schools, because we know they're not as well funded. And so we've been very diligent about that. And in our conversations, in our grant focusing and the conversation, we've also been very focused on bringing in non-extension people to have those community partners, those practitioners who are really out there in the field doing this kind of work. And so we've really focused and worked on that. Kathleen, I think, we'll be able to weave that together seamlessly and continue what we're doing. But here's the cool thing, and I'm going to ask her if she wants to just give you a quick statement or a mention here in just a moment. But as I've spoken with her, I sometimes, when you do those personality things, I kind of hit in that kind of vision or the meta level. I'm not the detail guy. It's just not my thing. Well, Kathleen is I think she's got the detail plus even more vision. She has, as we have been talking about transitioning and having her help to run this show, again, keeping a distributed leadership model, keeping a kind of a small committee of the folks who have been around for a really long time to be advisors. She is interested in seeing how we can even grow this more, how we can double the number of people, how we can bring in more researchers, practitioners, how we can find more funding to get students or interns or more permanent support. We've been blessed to have Katie on a partial grant, to have Lucy on a partial grant, Dawn and Rebecca, all of these little pieces. But she's already asking the questions, what else might we do to solidify this? So I am very psyched. And as she mentioned, she's kind of in that point in her career of giving back and of coaching, mentoring, and so I'm thrilled. And I would like to invite her right now, Dr. Leong, if you would like to just say hi, give a quick introduction, a minute or two, what your interests are, and that sort of thing.
All right, thanks, Brian, and I hope everybody can hear me. Brian, can you show your hand if you can hear me all right?
Yes.
Oh, great, thank you very much. Anyway, I was really honored and really excited when Brian contacted me regarding my request to participate in this leadership conversation. I just received the email from Brian and Katie a while ago asking about leadership transition and any volunteer who was willing to to be engaged and to take on a more responsibility. And at that time, I already knew that I received the offer from NCANT. So I will start my new job on August the 1st. So I'm in the middle of moving and transitioning my work from University of Vermont to NCANT right now. When I was hired by NCANT, one of the first priorities listed on my new contract was to engage and encourage more diverse participation with the research extension and the teaching cohort across the country, but even for domestic and international development, to promote more collaborative effort through e-extension and other USDA supported functions. That's why when I saw Brian's email asking for this leadership transition opportunity, I say, this is going to be a part of my job anyway. And I understand the challenges from 1890 institutions that we were usually underfunded, but also lack opportunities to even understand what else was going on and to participate in a more aggressive manner. Now, so I was very excited and very happy that Brian was even willing to give me a phone call and to talk with me about more opportunities, what he was like to work with the group. Now, today I thought this was hilarious. I think whatever happened with Brian's house situation or everybody's conversation, it really gave me a good idea how the group actually operates and work with each other. And I really appreciate the flexibility and the exchange, the information, the dynamics across different colleagues, different institutions, different stakeholders, everybody's involvement, that we're all very passionate about local food issues. I've been working with local food related issues for more than 20 years in my career. Like Brian said, I was very clear with Brian. I said, I'm at this point in my career, I don't need to worry about any promotion, tenure, or any perspective. And it was a part of my routine job. When I'm moving to the NCANT workload, I can easily justify the service and the possibilities for me to continuously working with everybody across country in different aspects. I'm just thrilled to even be considered with this potential that I can offer my service, offer my time, and be the person that everybody can pick on or laugh at, or however you want to say it. That I would just want to thank you all for considering me for this outstanding position. Thank you.
Thanks, Kathleen. We can take a couple of minutes or a few and ask, does anyone have questions or ideas that you might like to throw out or have a little conversation right now with Kathleen?
This is Rachel Linville. I'm not sure, excuse me, that you can hear me.
Yeah.
I did put my comments in the chat box. I always advocate for the 1994 schools. I'm not with one, but I used to be. I'm at South Dakota State University in Extension, and I'm really a grassroots person. I'm on the Rosebud Reservation, and I think our numbers are small, but our problems are quite intense in terms of food, and many of the reservations out this way are certainly food deserts, multi-layered problems in terms of that. So I just have to put my 2 cents in there, because I know that people mention the 90s schools, and don't forget about us 94s, and we have a lot of needs out here. So for sure, I want us included in the want Indian country included in the conversation.
Sure,
Yeah,
Rachel. Thanks for your point. And I was going to say, for many institutions, no matter what type of institutions we are, we're still missing a lot of people being involved in this dialogue and in any development of any collaboration opportunity. So I will definitely agree with you, and I actually work with a lot of tribal councils and tribal communities in my current research projects. So I understand different level of challenges and the lacking of the opportunity to participate. So I totally agree with you, and I think that's one of the aspects that we all have to work together in the future.
Yeah, thanks, Kathleen, and thanks also, Rachel. Yeah, and that's my fault. I say 1890, and in my mind, I'm inclusive, but my words didn't express that. So yeah, that was a miss. So thank you very much, very appreciative. Other questions for Kathleen or for the comments about the transition, about our group in general?
This is Marcy. I just wanted to say hi and thank you, Kathleen, for stepping into this. We really appreciate it. And I wanted to say that I was impressed that you come from two systems that I want to learn about, both Vermont and now NC State. I think both of these land grant systems have a lot to teach the rest of us. I'm at Washington State University and look to both of those institutions for leadership. So we'll be very excited to have you helping share knowledge with us and coordinate us all to learn from each other. So welcome. That's all I wanted to say. And I just want to say one other thing, Brian. On the Pacific Coast time, you said it would be 10 o'clock our time, but it was actually 9 our time. So I don't know if you might have missed a few people.
I just missed an hour.
Yeah, it took me a minute to figure that out. So I'm not sure if you lost a few other West Coast people that are going to dial on at 10 our time.
I skipped over the mountains. I should, yeah. My sister lives there. I should know that. Sorry about that.
I figured it out. Just a few minutes late, but.
Oh, thank goodness. Thanks, Marcy. It's good to see you. Other questions or comments for Kathleen or for the group? Thought I heard somebody's mic key, but maybe not. A quiet group. Okay, well, let's do this. I would like to call for a vote. I want a confidence vote. I want, and just an FYI, as Kathleen and I were talking, she already thought of an idea to construct a loosely bylaws or transition documents, and so I'm going to be working with her on that. And so as she said, you know, when she is shifting gears or refocusing and we need to transition, we can be a little more clear on how to do that instead of just kind of the open call. Although I like the transparency of it, it would be good to have a process. So we're going to work on that, put something like that together pretty soon, in fact. And as I mentioned, Kathleen's going to work with me on that. So Katie, how do we do it? Do we do a show of hands or a vote in the box, or what would be the best way using Zoom? Because you're the more knowledgeable person than I.
Well, unfortunately, there's not really a way to vote, and the people on the phone wouldn't be able to type in the chat box.
How about
So we might just have to go around.
we can do an audible?
Yeah.
All those in favor signify by raising your hand or saying aye.
Aye.
Bye.
Bye.
Oh, hey, look. How did that happen?
There's a little choice to raise your hand on this if you click the
Really?
Ah,
Cool.
as
Thank
we all
you.
learn Zoom together.
All right.
Are there any other concerns? I have the question period, but any concerns or nay votes that might want to be expressed? Hearing none. Well, I very much appreciate kind of a confidence vote, and welcome, Kathleen. I'm really excited, and I'm not going anywhere. I'll still be hanging around, and very glad to help and give you lots of documents and templates for writing support letters for NIFA grants and all those fun things that I've been able to do and to help out. So, and thanks to all of you guys. God bless you guys. I'm telling you, the network has worked, and you've made it really easy to kind of help to coordinate this network, and that's how I see myself kind of helping coordinate. And it's been the power has been in all of the folks who have contributed, who've led working groups, who have done the work of the community local regional food systems. And it's just been a pleasure to get to work with so many of you and get to know you guys. So I'm thrilled to even be a part of it and to continue hanging on and work with you guys. So on the agenda, I mentioned next steps. I talk about the formalizing the transition structure, and I'm going to work on that, writing kind of a protocol for future meetings and votes. I also want to work with Kathleen to kind of reform the steering committee. And basically what that is that's the group of, it's about a dozen or so folks who have been really involved. They've been around for a long time. A couple of them are newbies, so don't worry if you haven't been around since 2009 or so when we started. We'll take that, but it's the folks who are really interested and that we kind of call on when we're looking to do something big, like write one of the $50,000, $100,000 grants to do a conference in Cleveland, which we did, or the conference in Pittsburgh. It's kind of the key people. So if you're interested in that, we'll be, again, transparent. We'll do a call. Let us know that you're interested and helping us provide direction, leadership, focus. So we're going to reestablish that. And usually that group has met a couple times a year, although we've been a little lax this past year on that. And I mentioned that, setting direction, tracking working groups. Okay, I guess I said it in the agenda. And then formalizing transition structure. So that's all I have on the agenda other than the two quick announcements. Katie, you want to give us those?
Oh, I am on. I thought I was muted. Yes. Let's see. You already mentioned the NAFSA meet and greet in Vermont, right?
Mm-hmm. At the NACDEP and NREP conference.
Mm-hmm.
But you have a little more detail on the Food Distribution Research Society and the chance for funding for community local regional food systems team members, all of you, to get some dollars. So, Katie.
A little bit, yeah. I'm going to send something out next week that has all the details and how to apply for a travel stipend to go to the conference. Our part, things that will be of interest to us will be happening on Sunday and Monday. So really you could go and just, stay one night. The conference hotel is $189 a night, and early bird registration, which ends on August 23rd, is $350. We'll probably have some travel stipends, up to about $500 available. So we'll do kind of like we did if any of you came to the Cleveland conference. We sent out the stipend request, and if you were, we kind of weighted the request by your need and what school you were coming from and different things like that. So I'm going to put that together and send it out next week. So be looking for that. Registration is open. You can go to fdrsinc.org. That's fdrsinc.org and check out the conference information. There's a link to register, and there's a link to get your hotel reservation too. They don't have an agenda up yet, but pretty much all of the things, all of the main sessions that are happening on Sunday and Monday are related to food systems work. So I think it would be interesting for pretty much everyone.
And tough travel. I mean, New Orleans.
Yeah.
The food scene, the local food. Yeah, looks really fantastic. I love the Louisiana Cajun cooking. So last item on the agenda is open discussion. So does anyone have any just wild random thoughts? Any cogent thoughts about what we might be doing, what might be upcoming, or announcements on things that you'd like to share with the group? Open mic.
Brian, this is Marcy Ostrom again. Could I ask a question just about what Katie was just saying about the food systems distribution meeting? Would there be a chance to meet there as our group? She said the items of interest would be Sunday and Monday, and I don't know if that was like workshop tracks or what it sounds like our group would be interested in. But I'm also wondering if we had enough people there, if we would have could have a mini steering group meeting or something.
Yes. There are about 4 hours on Sunday morning that are reserved for us to do whatever we want to with. We can have working group meetings, steering committee meetings, whatever. And then we have a plenary session on Monday morning. Brian is number one on the agenda first thing that Monday morning, or whoever, Brian and Kathleen, maybe.
Okay, well that's exciting.
Yeah.
So really on the program.
Yes.
Yeah, and that's thanks to Becca Jablonski and Don Thomani, who wrote us in specifically with dollars for travel for this network, for our community local regional food systems team. So that some of us could go, and very similar to the Cleveland conference that Katie mentioned, for those who attended that, kind of a floating scale on the dollars available for stipends, but up to 500, maybe $600, depending on how many express need. And so you might have to come in Saturday night and eat dinner Saturday night.
Well, with that's a significant block of time. That's very exciting. That makes it more worth organizing around.
Other thoughts or ideas, direction, notes, or other about our team?
Yeah, Brian.
Heather.
Oh. Go ahead.
Okay, thanks. This is Heather Manto from Penn State. And I had one follow-up question on the distribution meeting we were just speaking of, and the scholarships. I have been working closely with a business that's 3 years in, kind of a food hub for local dairy products. And the co-founder is, of course, our shoestring business. She's also involved in the Vermont, Food Hub Certificate Program this year, and is interested in joining us as she has her eye on some food systems PhD, and sort of leaving the, startup company sector behind for a minute or 6 years. So anyway, I was curious if there's any support to that type of community partner. Because I couldn't tell from the materials between them. I just didn't want to share prematurely if that was a possibility. So it's okay if it's no. I just wanted to be clear as we're trying to plan our attendance.
Sure.
Maybe you can check, Katie, with Dawn and see, because that's a great question. And I think I know Dawn's attitude is very open. So just kind of, it might depend on the parameters of the grant, the dollars, the funder. So, but if you would, why don't you check and let us know?
Yes, I will.
Thank you.
Thanks, Heather. And someone else had started to jump on.
Yeah, this is.
Hi, it's Lauren Gwynn from Oregon State, and I had a question just about how to get involved in the working groups. What's the mechanism for that?
Excellent. First, thank you for your interest. Lots going on. So basically, it will be contact in the one attachment that I sent. It kind of gave an update of the working group teams, and it listed the people who are leading those, like Lucy Diekman, I mentioned, who was out in California leading the Urban Ag Working Group. So basically, the quickest way is to contact that leader of the working group that you're interested in. And as we kind of restructure and type up the minutes from, for example, today's meeting and that sort of thing, we'll also probably include connections to those people. If you would, Katie, remind me to do that.
Yep.
So that folks can easily, as we kind of reorient and launch again, can get involved, because there's great opportunity to do that, and there's a lot of fun. Plus, if you're interested in doing research, sometimes there are projects you can dive into, there are grants you can co-PI, all sorts of neat opportunities. So,
well, I appreciate that. I think my follow-up note is that over the last couple of years, we've been starting a trying to get our extension program here to have more of a community food systems focus. And there are definitely people in this group. We now have 2 positions, including mine, that actually are formally community food systems extension positions. And so I definitely want to reach out to folks in this group to get some mentoring on doing that work within a land grant and getting more support for it internally. So thanks in advance for your help.
Lauren, where are you again? I'm sorry.
I'm at Oregon State University. We have a Center for Small Farms and Community Food Systems here.
Yeah, I'm sorry. You said that and it went right out of my head. So here's the other cool thing, and this is kind of a note for everybody, but it's persistent or particularly germane to Lauren's question. So you've got 409 people, however many it is, on our listserv right now that you can crowdsource from. And so one of the things that we've seen happen with folks who have questions to throw things out is they throw it to the group and say who is doing X, Y, or Z, and who might have an outline or a process or something that they can help me with as I'm doing it. And so absolutely, that is a brilliant example of what the network can do, of what it has been doing, and the opportunity as you guys are moving forward. We stole your director, and he's in Ohio now, Roger Rennick.
Yes, I know you've got Roger now.
We're very happy about that. So my apologies, but and I'll help because he and I have talked a little bit about your initiatives, and so I'll be glad to talk and that sort of thing. But also use the network, use the crowdsource, throw it out to the lands. So thank you. And then I saw Jeff Peastrack at Cornell try to bump on there. Jeff?
Oh, yeah, I just nodded off. Sorry. No, just kidding. Excellent presentation today, Brian. You really made me smile. Thank you. You sure you had that all queued up with the dog? I just wanted to jump in and comment a little bit about, you mentioned Kim and Phil had discussed moving towards more of a network learning model. And I have a e-extension fellowship right now I'm in the middle of that is looking at ways that we can network our content, leveraging the expertise and assets of libraries like mine at Cornell Mann Library. So instead of us all having to put our stuff in one place, we can put it in our institutional repositories, but that e-extension can facilitate connecting that content so that we can find it. And so, as I mentioned, I'm in the middle of a fellowship. This follows up a visit to Australia, visiting with some of our colleagues over there, learning what they're doing. And I'll be providing a webinar and a paper at the end of my fellowship in October, telling everyone what I learned, how we can connect what we're generating and what we're doing and to make it more easily findable. And there's also sort of the human side of that is that it's not just a technical solution, but we have to share our content more openly and tag it using consistent tags. We're not doing that on the e-extension site. And then a related thing is that I've been talking with Duncan Hilchey about creating a new community of practice on the NAFSN Social Hub site. I encourage folks to join that, to get on there, because that's going to be a place where we can interact more than I think we've been able to do through the e-extension site. And within that site, I want to work with Chris Ogden, who's somebody I work with here in the Northeast. It's focused on network leadership and systems leadership. So Brian, we should talk because I think there's a real connection with your new learning network. And looking at how those types of skills can really help those of us who are working in food systems, because a lot of us are boundary spanners, knowledge brokers. We're connectors as much as being experts. We're connecting expertise. And I'm working with Mark Lubell at UC Davis. He has this framework called Extension 3.0, where he's really doing research, hard research on how do we show impact when we work in a networked way. And I met a lot of folks in San Antonio at the last e-extension conference. There was a lot of buzz for those of us who are interested in this work, but find it really hard to document our impact. So really interesting, exciting things. I'll keep in touch with this group through the listserv, and hopefully I'll see some of you in person soon.
Jeff, thank you. That's huge and spot on with the need to document the impact and to facilitate how to do that. And so those conversations will be fantastic. I really appreciate your expertise and participation. So thank you. Other thoughts or comments? Had some great discussion. Well, we're 13 minutes early, so I said an hour, and I think we're ready to the last item, the adjourn. If no one has anything else, I'll just say thank you guys again. Last call, going once. All right. Well, thank you guys so much, Kathleen. Thank you. Oh wow, I'm psyched. Very excited to jump right into our next steps. To put together some outlines and processes, and then start communicating again so that we can let new people. We've had really a surge of people join. The 409, we were about 350 for a long time, and so we've got new folks who could well plug into working groups and communities. So we'll make that process known, make sure everybody finds out and communicates, and look forward to what Jeff's working on with the hardware part of it, the network part of it, and sharing the ideas, repositing information, and move forward. So I'm really excited. Thank you guys again. Have a great week. I'll see a lot of you in Vermont. Looking forward to that. So take care.
Thank you, Brian. Thank you.
Thanks,
Kathleen.
Brian and Kathleen.
Bye.